Hey, hope you're doing well today. For everybody who's here for the first time, my name is Corbin Dassey, and welcome to my channel where I bring together the power of science along with the pursuit of self development, offering a unique approach to personal growth. I have a quick question for you. Have you ever tried to focus on something very important only to be pulled away by a text message, an email, or the urge to check social media? If you answered yeah, then you're not alone. In a world full of distractions, it's harder than ever to really focus in on the tasks that matter the most. This is where the concept of deep work comes in, which involves giving your full, undivided attention to one important task for a chunk of time. Not only does deep work feel great when you're in the zone, but there's also science backing up why this intense focus period helps you perform at your best. Let's dig deep into why deep work is so powerful and how you can start incorporating it into your daily routine. So, what is deep work really? At its core, deep work is when you focus intensely on something meaningful without any distractions. Whether you're writing, designing, coding, or just solving a problem. Deep work is all about going deep rather than skimming the surface of multiple tasks. Cal Newport, who popularized the idea of deep work in his book, literally titled Deep Work, defines it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction free concentration that actually pushes your cognitive capabilities to their limits. In plain English, it's how you do your best work by fully focusing. I wanted to touch upon the difference between shallow work and deep work. So, deep work involves tasks that are big, challenging, and require real concentration, like writing a paper, learning a new skill, or developing complex solutions. Shallow work, on the other hand, is the stuff that doesn't need much brain power, like answering emails, attending routine meetings, or checking off the small admin tasks every day. Are they necessary? Sure, but they are not the things that move the needle in a meaningful way, like the deep work tasks. Why is deep work so hard to do? With distractions everywhere, such as social media, notifications, emails, it's tough to focus on only one thing for a long period of time. Research shows that after being interrupted, it can take up to 23 minutes to get back into the flow of what you are doing. No wonder deep work feels so rare these days. So let's touch upon why deep work is so valuable, and let's back it up with some science. So, in my opinion, in a world where multitasking is the norm, deep work is like a superpower. It's not just about getting more done, but it's more about getting the right things done with a good amount of quality and creativity. So, according to research from Stanford University, multitasking actually reduces productivity because switching between tasks burns up more energy and mental resources than sticking with one. The concept of deep works flips this, which helps you to focus on one task so you can do it better and in turn faster as well. The more time you spend in deep work, the more productive you become. Flow, a psychological state, happens during deep work. It's when you're so absorbed in what you're doing that time just flies by like it's nothing. In this state of flow, you can produce more in less time and often at a higher quality too. Deep work also boosts cognitive abilities. So think of deep work as a workout for your brain. When you push your cognitive limits, you strengthen neural pathways associated with focus, memory, and even problem solving. Studies show that regularly engaging in challenging cognitive activities can help wave off cognitive decline as you age. Deep work also taps into neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to form new connections and pathways. The more you practice this kind of focus, the easier it becomes to get into that state of intense concentration. Deep work also enhances our creativity. When you're able to focus without distraction, your brain has the freedom to think more deeply and come up with more creative solutions. According to research published in the Creativity Research Journal, sustained attention leads to more complex and creative problem solving. It's like giving your brain the space it needs to explore new ideas. And believe it or not, deep work actually improves our mental health. Constantly jumping between tasks and dealing with distractions doesn't just hurt our productivity, it's mentally draining. The mental clutter from always being on can lead to stress and anxiety. But deep work, by contrast, offers us a form of mental clarity. It's like decluttering your mind and focusing on one thing that actually matters, which can actually feel really satisfying. So now that you guys have a rough idea on what deep work is and its benefits, let's talk about how we can cultivate deep work. Making deep work a regular part of your life is all about setting up the right habits and your environment. So here's a few tips that I came up with on how you can get started. My first tip is to schedule deep work sessions. Let's be real, you're not going to magically find hours of uninterrupted time in your day unless you schedule it. So my advice would be to set aside specific blocks of time for deep work, whether it's just an hour in the morning or longer stretches a few days a week. Protect that time like it's a meeting with your most important client. My next tip, cut out distractions, which is easier said than done, right? But start by turning off notifications on your phone or computer. Consider notification blocking apps or some time limit apps to protect your deep work sessions. Research published in the PLOS One journal shows that even the mere presence of a smartphone can actually reduce cognitive performance. So putting your phone in another room can actually help. Out of sight, out of mind, right? My next tip would be to break it into chunks. So you don't necessarily have to dive into 4 hours of deep work straight away. Work your way up. Start with 25 to 50-minute sessions and gradually increase the time. Certain techniques, such as the Pomodoro technique, which is where you work for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break, can help ease you into longer periods of focus. According to research, the brain can only maintain intense focus for about 90 to 120 minutes or thereabouts before needing a break. So aim for 60 to 90 minutes of deep work before recharging your brain. My next tip is to embrace boredom. Yep. Really embrace it. A big part of deep work is retraining your brain to not seek constant stimulation. When you're always jumping from one distraction to the next, your brain gets used to it. Give yourself permission to be a little bit bored sometimes. Don't reach for your phone the second you feel the urge. A study done by Harvard showed that allowing moments of boredom can actually improve creativity, as it allows our brains to the space to process and make new connections. And finally, another tip from me is to track your progress. So keep a log of how much time you spend in deep work and what you accomplish during that time. Tracking progress not only keeps you accountable, but it also gives you an insight into how your focus improves over time. And if you can see that working for you, you're more likely to stick with it. So when we cultivate deep work for longer periods of time, we start to see some great benefits. These benefits include increased focus, which means that our ability to concentrate improves, making it easier to tackle complex projects and produce higher quality results. You can expect to see a growth in your career. So deep work is linked to deliberate practice, a key element of mastering any skill. The more that we engage in deep work, the more that we develop expertise that sets us apart in our fields of work. And lastly, there's personal satisfaction. Now, there's something deeply fulfilling about knowing that you've spent your time wisely, not being distracted, and working on things that matter, rather than getting lost in those distractions that we encounter in our day-to-day lives. It's very fulfilling. So that just about does it. Overall, I feel like deep work is about more than just getting things done. It's about giving your brain the chance to operate at its full capacity or its full potential. By eliminating distractions and creating space for focused, meaningful work, you can achieve more. You can think more clearly, and you can ultimately feel more fulfilled and in both your professional and your personal life. So my advice, take a step back, block out some time and see what happens when you go all in on deep work. Your brain and your future self will thank you. As always, I appreciate you being here. Stay curious, stay driven, and keep leveling up. Remember that we can keep pushing the limits of what's possible. I'll catch you guys in the next video.